Yo, 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 yo. Um, what up, what up? It's late. It's like 9:30 p.m. my time, Eastern time. Um, Let me just drag this up on my phone. It's on my laptop. Okay, sound is fine. As you know, I do not stream live on Thursdays because I'm away from my home setup. But I'll always do the recap, uh, you know, of the trading and go over some stuff. So you'll see that the title's like a little clickbaity. Secret trading concept exposed. Super cool. It's not that much of a secret. It's just something that I use, and I think it's, maybe if I say stupid stuff, people will listen, and they'll think it's, they'll actually get some value out of these things. So let's go over it. Um, Obviously, we all know what happened yesterday, right? Tariff 90-day pause. We pumped to the absolute skies. We open up. I don't even know where. I didn't even mark it open because I didn't really care. But let's see if it adds a little bit of context. I have the new week opening gap dragged over from like who knows when. I don't know, March 30th. So in March, I have that because that's pertinent to how we acted. But I don't know. Let's clearly this is the one. So let's mark this out. Close to open. Drag that puppy there. Go here. Shoo-doo-doo-doo. Let's do this. Close to open. Very nice. Okay, so you have new day opening gaps right after the pump. I wasn't looking at it, but let's see if we could. It's pretty much so it's gonna end up telling me the same exact thing as what the new week opening gap did. So I'm sure everybody watches like Matt Lober too. Another trader who his forever model is SMT within it's SMT within a point of interest. So this is really no different from his forever model. So you'll see that we open NASDAQ leaves this high alone while it's within the new day opening gap and old new week opening gap. Okay, we're on a 5-minute chart. And you can see that ES ends up taking that, well, pretty much yesterday's high actually is really what it is. It's a daily high that ES ends up taking, okay, and on the 4 hour as well. So 4 hours is a little bit cleaner. So you see that NQ does not take it, ES does. Now we get a short move, right, through Asian session. Midnight, we rally up, create these equal highs, which are semi-important for later. Sorry, I'm just checking that out. We have more divergence? Yeah, more divergence from this high to this high. So more weakness in NQ, and that's during London session, so that's a little bit more important to note. We then get a New York continuation, so London continuation from Asia, New York continuation from London, right around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. CPI today as well. So there's a volatility drive. CPI came out fine. So that's not really the question here. So I'm going to cut right to the secret market trading, whatever, the secret that's going to make you millions of dollars. What I use, and you'll notice that I have YM up here, okay? When we get these large gaps up, not gaps, but just these huge algo-driven runs, okay, these impulse moves. Obviously, most of the time, we retrace up close to 50% of that move, right? Just for the sake of, providing there's clearly interest here. Not everybody got a chance to buy here. So the market, offers fair pricing to everybody. And any market maker, they're going to take price down here because this may be an area of interest for the auction to continue on. Now, here's the juice. When I'm looking at all three indexes and I see something like this, I like to dig into the lower time frames because odds are there's somewhere where nobody had gone. No one of the three indexes, right? And that's going to be right here. So we move to the 5-minute chart, and you'll see, like, see how the cursor moves all over. It's in the bottom left corner, it's the top left corner, and this right side of my screen. You can see wherever I move this, it's the same as everywhere else. You'll notice, okay, 130 is low on the 5-minute. No index had yet to go under this low. Everything else was relatively similar from index to index. But what is the one point that no index diverged on? Okay? And I'm thinking about this because what I'm trying to think about is, where could we be reaching? Where is this market going to turn around to reverse to the upside? Because now we take into account these equal highs, right? Equal highs on NASDAQ here, perfect equal highs over here. Obviously, to me, that's, I mean, I'm looking to get long to sweep these levels. And everyone's going to be looking to get long today, right? We just pumped 11% on great news yesterday. So most people are going to try to buy that move. And I'm not saying like active small traders like me, but people in general, like people that are investing, that were afraid, like everyone's like, oh, guess the bottom's in, going to buy this move, right? So, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, where does the market need to go first before it's going to do that? And, because obviously max pain is always the place. So I'm looking for this market to go lower, and you have to ask yourself where. So if we look at the hourly, this is like, I've seen this happen, right? So we had divergence. This was also something I was looking at, okay? So you have ES right on the lows, NQ taking those. Okay, this was pre-New York Open. It was at 9:30 that we actually invalidated this low, which means the SMT is BS, right? ES did the same thing, 9 o'clock, 9:30. This is the hourly candle, but 9:30 swept under this low, and we'll just drag that across for simplicity, okay? And we marked it out over here, so we look, Would you look at that? 9:30 happens. Where are we? So ES swept the low at 9:40, okay? NQ did as well. Instantly, I'm like, all right, we're going lower. This is where I then tune in to, this. I was willing to also, it's like, just because 3 indexes haven't gone somewhere doesn't mean that somebody's got to go there before it moves up. No, because there was enough narrative here, right, where the 15-minute chart, you look here, right? That SMT is enough to invalidate that whole entire idea. And mind you, I didn't have that idea yet. I'm thinking like, okay, we got SMT on the lows between NQ and ES. I'm looking for them to hold. Like if it holds, I'm going to get long because, again, we have obvious targets to the upside. Left midnight alone, didn't even go in and to touch it on either index. Like after like the retracements for like 7 a.m. New York Open. So, I mean, there's targets, and I also like how they're not even reaching into midnight and not even reaching into the old new day opening gap. And then we have equal highs above that. To me, that's like primed hot, like, that's low resistance to me. Like those targets can be hit. But as soon as we disqualify the SMT that even has the upside, okay, the upside objectives, or that gives as soon as we disqualify the reason why we would look for upside objectives, now we look for downside objectives, right? So this is where I look for that, like, this is my trick. I'll go into the lower time frames. Let me look at some, especially after these types of rallies, you'll see like it's common, okay? We'll make a lot of low resistance liquidity, like trend line liquidity, because that's just how the market's going to pump. And it pisses off the ICT traders the most because we're always targeting that type of stuff. It doesn't make sense for them to leave that type of stuff alone. Okay, so long story short, where's the one place that nobody's gone yet? And especially YM, look at that. Look how it made equals right around the 1330, which is 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Nobody has taken this low. Zero, zilch, zip. So that's my target. I now am committing, after the disqualification of the SMT on the upside, I tell myself, yo, I'm not getting long until somebody goes below this damn low. So let's mark it out. 130, boom, marked. 130, marked. Let's move this over. Skadoosh. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I wonder if anybody's watching this right now. I haven't checked if there's a chat. No, of course not. Why would they? Anyway, so as soon as well, I guess I'll keep this up. So obviously ES, let me put that back. Okay, very nice. It's okay for ES to take this low. It's not okay for ES to take that low. Just saying. That's how SMT works. It just cannot take the low that the other one did. Whatever. Anywho, I'm on the 1 minute chart now. You know, obviously I'm scoping out my setups. Now in my head, after ES has taken this low, and NQ has also just kept going lower, and I've found where, you know, I believe the market is drawing to on all indexes, which are these blue lines down here. I'm immediately looking for a reason to get short. I'm not looking at longs anymore. Any reason I can find to get short, I'm going to take. Okay. So we have right at the open divergence between ES and NQ. Right? Am I looking at this right? Am I tripping? No, it's over here. I drew it wrong. Sorry. Huh. All right. I knew it. We have divergence. This high. This high. See that? Yes, NQ. And again, I'm taking shorts, and I'm looking to hold those shorts until somebody, sorry, let me just figure out where 930 is, right over here, until somebody takes this low. And to be honest, the index that was closest to it and that looked the weakest on the small time frames was YM. Okay. So I'm basically telling myself I'm going to be short ES and NQ, more so NQ because I don't really trade ES very much. But I'm going to be taking shorts on NQ until YM or somebody, could be anyone, but realistically, as soon as YM crosses this line, I'm done with my shorts for the day until YM goes down there. So any short signal to me is valid. Okay? SMT, move down to a 15-second chart. That's just, you know how, if you watch the streams, you understand how I trade. Okay? SMT, great. Sorry, let me scoop. Look at that. Look how clean that one is. SMT, drive up, right? That's here. Drive up, sweeps these highs, okay? We get change in state of delivery. Here, off that move, what do we leave? Fair value gap. Beautiful. Now what? We get short. I'm not going to show all my executions because they're ugly later in the day, and I'll show that. I could have really just stopped right here, but I didn't, because by the time I took off these trades, YM still hadn't met its objective, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to short it down. Okay, so we short 1, short 2, short 3. Reasonable, right? Ignore this because I don't care about this right now. This is for a later trade. Oh, what was this? This is, I was trying to get short before, because I understood, once we invalidated, this was 939. ES had invalidated by that point, so I was already getting short. Did I reverse it? I don't even know. I was looking to get short. Long story short, I was looking to get short. Okay, I think I was even, or I was down $100 or something. I don't know. I know I was down at some point. I think I tried to short here. What's that? 736. This is within the same candle. I could have tried to buy it. Maybe I tried to buy this actually. Oh, I did. That's how. Right. So ES went up. We shot up anyway, and I'm like, okay, let me give this a shot to the upside, because we came all the way down here at 36, at 55, right? So 55, I took a long, which is pretty much right here, and I risked the low here, 37. So to me, that was like a good low risk short. We started running up again. I tried again because I thought that we would invert here. We didn't. And I think there was more SMT, or am I wrong? No, I don't know. It could be something on the large time frame. All I know is I tried to long twice here, failed. Whatever. Um, there you go. And then this was the short. Pretty simple. Holding premise is just all about YM getting down into this area. Okay. And where are we? We're here. So YM is all the way up here when I'm short. It's moving down. It's moving down. I take off 2 because why wouldn't I? Because I'm in good profits. I think it was 796. So 767, shorted another like 30 points up a higher. The volatility is crazy, by the way. So it doesn't take a whole bunch. So I think my average, so let's just call my average here. 27 and 45, so 65 points, 50 points. I just remember being up like $300 in the position, and I was like, all right, that's 50 points per mini or micro. Time to take a little bit off, you know, especially I was red. So I think it was, yeah, it was down like $111. So when I was up 300, I said, okay, let me take off 2. I'm up $100 for the day, and I let the other one ride. I do that. I do just that until I see a point value that makes no sense to continue to hold. So let's do, what are we at? Well, then we're at 96 because it's Topstep works first in, first out with the average, right? So then 684. Yeah, I remember seeing it was like 100 points. I was like, all right, I'm out. Like, that's good. That's home run for me. 100 points in a trade, you know, in a couple of minutes. So that's that. So we get out of that. Now let's move on. Obviously, look, I'm going to just keep going. Like the whole reason is I'm shorting relentlessly until we get below this line. Until somebody gets below this line. I'm going to take this way because this is the 930 and it's confusing. ES, you know, it's all the way down here. Like, you know, there's obviously room. We get another move. You know, I short again. Now we get the 10 o'clock open. Okay. I know that ES and NQ are still like nobody's reached this point yet. 10 o'clock opens. I think I took a couple shorts here. No, I took a short here. Took a short here. John's all the way back down. Comes up. I notice that there's SMT with YM. I think I get stopped out at even like right about up here. As I see it getting shoved at 10 a.m. again, I take more shorts. There's also I think micro SMT between ES and NQ. Maybe not. Or I just liked that it stabbed above. Whatever. Started coming down. I got really aggressive because I was like, I don't really want to lose. I think I was up like $300 or something. Like because I scalped a little bit here, and from this move I ended up like 270 or 280. Where am I? So yeah, so taking shorts, just trying to use the 10 a.m. open on the 15-second chart now. Now I'm just solely working on the 15-second chart. This SMT ends up breaking. All good. Now let's move to the 1-minute chart. Okay, we break above. ES doesn't really care. I don't really care about ES anymore at this point. Break above 10 o'clock. Okay, we come back down. We use one of these previous ranges, like 50% of that range. I think we like smack like pretty good. Like right to, or no, it wasn't that actually. It was an order block. It was the original order block that I had marked out. Yes, right here. Okay, so I had that order block and I was also using that as narrative, right? Order block coming down. We come down, slap that, uses it as an inversion point. I'm not really interested in longs. So then I mark out this fair value gap because I noticed that that's what caused this nice little reaction down. So now I'm basically just waiting and watching here. Go back to the 15-second chart because that's where I'm operating most of the time because I'm trying to get the earliest possible entries, right? And that's all of the reversals look the same, you know what I mean? Like on either time frame. So I did get stopped out here. So I actually took a short here, stopped out. Took a short here, stopped out above the high, so I took a loss here. I gave a little bit back. And then I just started watching. because after like in my mind, I was like, probably should have puked this candle's low. Like we shouldn't have taken this high. So this was my change in state of delivery on the 15-second after sweeping this high into the midpoint of that inversion fair value gap, right, on the 1 minute. Once we cross above this high, I'm like, I gotta chill because there's nothing really here for me. So looking at the 1 minute again, I hate having to scroll, man. I just wish it would freeze there. And now the 1 minute's also getting sloppy. Like, we're just getting gross. Like it's closing above, come back down, closing above, come back down, closing below. And again, like 1 minute, I think I took another loss here trying to trade the 1 minute. Like all paper cuts, but obviously in this market, paper cuts are solidly sized, 40-point paper cuts because, you know, that's just the volatility of the market right now. So whatever, I get roasted here, trying to short this move. And I knew I was kind of shocked too. Like after, like this is one of the low time frame cues. These equal highs. I knew when we printed that and I came down, I was like, oh, like a piece of me just wanted to stop it out, like take my profit. But I've also seen this like work for the time being, then come back up and take it. So I held it knowing that I was most likely going to be stopped. I did get stopped even actually because there was no point. I knew I was like, if it does come up too far, I'll just take the risk of stopping up break even, which is like right around here. We shoot up one more time. Now I'm just watching. 1 minute chart finally prints this disgusting candle to the downside, which I welcome because while all this is happening, mind you, guess who isn't? Nobody's hit this point yet, right? You're gonna have to take my word for it on ES. Okay, well here, there you go. I scrolled over enough. While this is all happening, this mess in here, you could see on YM, the bottom left corner. YM's also up here. Okay, and nobody has taken this low yet. So I'm still shorting, I'm still relentless. Finally, we get a good puke all the way down. And if you look at 5 minute charts, like it all makes sense, look at the 5. It's just, change in state of delivery, order block. Everything's being held nicely. Okay, there's like nothing that's super gross to 15-minute, just moving into this wick. I don't know, let's look at the 3 minute. Is there anything there? I remember like looking at all the time frames and just being like, there's really nothing here that makes me super bullish. Like that makes me feel like I'm wrong. This fair value gap on the 3 minute inverted, obviously it fails, but just totally disrespected ran through. Let me just get rid of some of this stuff because I don't want to do it tomorrow. So yeah, just looking at that 1 minute, like, I'm using this gap because there's reaction. There's clearly, it's a pertinent level. So once we puke all the way down, we leave another 1 minute fair value gap. I guess I'll highlight it. Why not? But I'm not really, like, yes, I'm looking at that, but I'm more concerned with how it reacts back up into here. So you can see, like, we're stabbing into it one more time using the 1 minute as well. And we just puke. So I got short relatively heavy in here, like 5 contracts or something. And then we puked. And that was it. And like once we fell below the 10 a.m. low, I was like, I obviously trimmed aggressively as we like got this first move down. Because I'll always just take money off. So yeah, so YM started to collapse, and at this point it's like a given. Trimmed aggressively here, held one more runner. We're right above here, and I told myself, just get out. And I'm glad I did because my stop was all the way up here. And I figured that 10 a.m. we really weren't going to visit it again. So I think it was up like 200 points or something. I don't know. It was 200 points. I think I got it. I think I anticipated. All I remember is that there must have been an ad up here. All I remember is being like, holy crap, like I'm up 200 points on a micro on my last runner. Like, what else do I need? Like, I don't need it to go any further. And thankfully, I took it off, and because I would have been pissed if I got stopped out here. Like, yeah, I would have been up $400 for the day if my runner got stopped here. But taking it off here was far better because what do you call it? I made another $200. So I think it's the day. So yeah, long story short, I get out, thankfully, because it would have stopped me out at even. And after seeing the rejection at 10 a.m., I probably would have risked more to try to get back in the move because Well, look what happened. Dow never crossed that line. So yeah, so I was just short all day, and then I locked out. There's no point in me trading anymore. And then, as you can see, once we all took that, and all indexes dropped below that low, we moved into breakers, yada yada. I can't really tell you, too much about the upside. I mean, it makes sense, but you could sum it up to 50% of this gap breaker. We're respecting it, and now finally, I put out a tweet basically saying like you can look for your long setups now that YM had taken it, and then obviously ES took it, and Q also took that level. And well, what do you know? Like the first long setups that show up in the morning that work are what? Below that level. So how cool is that? There's your secret sauce. All right, how to keep yourself out of trouble. Look for one of the three indexes to go somewhere that matters. Okay, and then you could look for your long setups or your short setups, whatever. And then we rallied into the day. I don't know, we semi into the close, or I guess we puked it. I don't know. I wasn't watching. I was done. So yeah, so here you go. We look at the performance. Here's today, 6:04. So we had a good day, bang up day. Yeah, it says 34 trades, but that's just because I was adding into my trades, so each one is looked up as separate. And we were trading a little bit heavier today because I felt like I understood what was happening. And that's that. So tomorrow, who knows? Maybe we rally to the moon, all the way up here and up here. But until then, that's it. Well, actually, I'm gonna fix some of this crap. I'm gonna pull that over. I'm gonna pull that over. Let's go here. I'm just gonna prepare tomorrow. It's obviously not midnight, so I'll just leave that where it is. It's 13th. I don't even know what today is. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Well, whatever. Solid. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. It was actually way longer than I thought. I don't even know how long this is because I'm not looking at 27 minutes. That's not too bad, actually. That's it. I'm done. That's the recap. That was today's trades. We crushed. Sick. I'll be on tomorrow. All right, good luck.